Lisa here. I'm working on another scrapbook page. It's actually another element swap. I'm going to make 5 of them for a swap I joined. I did a double layer fun. I did a 4-layer sun. I've got the tag and a 2-layer grass. So I used cardstock in the back and I used a pattern paper in the front. But it's really subtle, so I like it. The tag, I'm not going to adhere together so they can do their journaling and then glue it together when they're ready. And I made a little piece of grass for the bottom of it to coordinate with the grass down here. Let me show you the cartridges I used. Of course, this is all Cricut. I didn't do it by hand, ha ha ha. The lettering is the Pooh font. The sun is from Pooh and Friends. And the grass and the tag are all from ZooBalloo. So let me show you what I'm doing. This is the sun I made from my Fun in the Sun scrapbook set. I think it's pretty funky, but I do like it. I started with the Pooh and Friends cartridge on page 21 under the key named Pooh 5. On the icon section, there's a base and a top layer. And I liked it, but because my page is called Fun in the Sun, boy, my sun better be pretty cute, right? So I'm going to jack it up from here. And what I did is I started with an aquamarine base because my title is supposed to be like the sky. And I want the sun to go with my title. So I started with an aquamarine base, and I cut it at 3 1/4 inches. And that way it would show. Okay, let me make some room here. Okay. Then I went to a base of red, just a solid cut, 3 inches. I did my highlight at 3 inches also, and my highlight is the orange. And that cut I did the 3-layer cut. And you'll have to excuse the yellow is already adhered to the top. So I cut my orange at 3 inches the same, took it apart, and I glued the orange at an off angle so you can see it. Then I cut my yellow at 2 3/4 inch, which is 1/4 inch smaller. And you can see I have my cuts from here. And then I took the circle of the yellow, I glued it on top of the orange, and I glued it off center on purpose to make it kind of funky and casual. I put that in the center, and I took the ring from the yellow, which is actually cut a little bit smaller than the orange, and I actually kitty-cornered that. So if you can imagine that flattened out, that's how I made my sun.
Crazy, great to be nuts, nuts, nuts. Kitty and Pooh.
The tag is from ZooBalloo on page 120. Here it is. I cut the shadow, this one at 2 1/2 inches, and I cut the box part at 2 3/4 inches. And that seems a little weird, but when I cut the box at 2 1/2, I thought it would match, but it was awfully small. And I just did not like it. So I went up to 2 3/4 inches, and I'm much happier with it. The circle's not going to line up, but I'm going to supply a washer and repunch it, and you won't even know the difference. And then you get a bigger tag to go with it. I'm going to supply a small journaling box, and I'm going to leave it all unglued. The people can write their journaling, adhere it down, and that way it's just easier to write your journaling in the box, I think. And if you mess up your box, just get a new box that you have at home, and you haven't messed up the tag. Okay, I'm going to supply that, and they're going to glue that down, and I'm going to have a little piece of grass from ZooBalloo cut at 1 1/2 inches, and I'm going to put a washer up here, and that's the tag.
Foolish all the day long. Boom, boom, ain't it great to be crazy? Giddy
And the grass. The grass is also from ZooBalloo on page 129. I'll try to have some close-ups. I did not go with the regular grass. The regular grass they had looks like the zoo grass. It would be great for a lion or the zoo. But for the backyard, I'm hoping my husband mows the lawn more than that. So I went with the lower layer. Went with the lower layer, box A, and the lower layer shadow. And the lower layer, box A, is the pattern paper. The cardstock is the one here. I cut them both at 2 1/2 inches, and this is what they call 2 1/2 inches. Just to let you know, you only get 1 piece per cut. Although you see 2 here, I had to do 2 separate cuts. And don't forget, because they're both on the top, you need to shift for both of those cuts. Well, that's my set. Thank you for joining me.